What up? As of filming this, it's my 55th birthday. The morning of. I'm out here in the woods, catching some mileage. It's a beautiful morning. Started a little chilly, but it's perfect. 55 years old, and I was just thinking, because I was like, oh, I should make a video about being 55, and then I was like, nah, that's kind of juvenile, right? And then I was thinking about, well, why is my birthday, especially in the past, meant so much to me? Like partying and, just having a good time, whatever that means, I mean, back in the day, partying used to mean getting blotto with my friends and, just blasting music and all that. But now it's like having a good steak and something, decent, like cheesecake, a pumpkin cheesecake or pumpkin pie. Those are two of my favorites. And my girl makes them. My daughter texted me, said happy birthday, gave me a present. My girl gave me a laptop, which is something that I've really needed for a long time, or wanted, I should say. And my mom just texted me to wish me a happy birthday, and that's great. And I'm not here to look for happy birthdays, right? Even though, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, I will appreciate it. But I was thinking back, and I'm thinking about celebrating birthdays kind of juvenile, especially like going all out, right? In your mid 50s. Although 55 is a pretty big one, right? The 50s, the 55s, the 60s, 40s, 45, those are usually the big ones. And I was thinking back, and I'm like, well, it's always been that way since I was a kid, And then I was thinking, I just did like 5 miles, right? And the whole time I've been racking my brain to even picture one of my childhood birthday parties or a childhood birthday cake. I mean, I'm sure I had to have had them, right? But I can't even remember opening like a birthday present, like unwrapping one on my birthday until maybe I was like 20 years old, maybe 19. And that was with friends, right? Girlfriends, buddies, things like that. We used to throw big freaking rages and stuff, any excuse for a rager. So birthday was perfect. But literally, I mean, I remember my older brother's birthdays, right? I even remember where we got the cakes for my older brother's birthday, several of them, right? It was this, I believe it was an Italian bakery right in Davis Square on the side street that the Somerville Theater, the Davis Square Somerville Theater is on. Still, I think it's there to this day. But there used to be a bakery right behind it. I think either like right before or right after. I think there's a bowling alley down there, something like that, right? But I remember vaguely where the place is, what kind of cake it was. I even remember the fresh strawberries chopped up in the cream filling in the middle of the cake. It was big cake, And then we'd go out to Sturbridge or Southbridge, and there'd be all these kids out there, and we'd party and ride BMXs, whatever, right? Mud fights, swimming. But anyway, I still can't for the life of me remember any childhood birthday party. I remember a couple times maybe. See, when I was very young, birthdays weren't a big deal in school either. They weren't like everybody didn't get a birthday party in elementary school, kindergarten. No, I don't remember any of that. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I don't have any recollection of it. And I remember a lot of stuff from my childhood. I remember a lot of stuff from growing up. And most of like the birthday gifts and the parties that I remember were when I was, well after being in my mom's home. I mean, I remember even birthdays really being recognized in my household probably stopped literally like 9-10 years old. I had to, kind of weird version of adulthood was forced on me just because of my home situation, and my mom being in the throes of addiction and, her boyfriend slash, my stepfather, whatever, first 9 years of my life, and then her next boyfriend, which, was a mess as well. It was just a lot of drugs and all that. And I'm not trying to come down on my mom, I mean? We've reconciled, and, that's not what I'm saying, though. But I truly cannot remember. Like and my mother always took pictures when we were younger. So like I'm visualizing, trying to even, I'm sure there's at least one picture of me blowing out candles on a cake. Like I can picture like a sheet cake, but I don't know if that's a real memory or not. I don't know if I really remember seeing that picture. And my mom will see this, so maybe she'll send me the photograph. But she sends me a lot of, scans and pictures of the photographs from my childhood, and not any time recently do I remember seeing a birthday picture. And even like I would get, birthday money or birthday presents from because my mom had 7 brothers and sisters, right? Mostly sisters. And, but that would be on Christmas, I remember one of my aunts being mad that I never said thank you for the birthday cards that they would send to me with money in them. And I can tell I never received any of them. If you sent me something in the mail back in those days, I didn't receive any of it, especially a card that just, whether it got to the house or if someone stole it in the project. I mean, we had a pretty rough area that we lived in. But anyway, and then so they would give me money. At first, they would give me it in a card in front of my mom and my mom's boyfriend, my stepdad, whatever. And somehow on the way home, they would figure out a way to remove that money from my pocket. So then, my family members, my aunts and uncles and my grandparents, they realized that, and they would all take me aside every Christmas and go, here's some birthday money, here's some Christmas money. Don't tell your mom you got this. And I wouldn't, I mean? I remember the first couple of times I did, and I regretted it. And so I just never did again. But yeah, I don't remember. That's weird, right? I mean, that's a crazy, and again, like, I must be wrong, right? Like I remember going to other people's birthday parties. I remember kids in my neighborhood, I remember those things. But we were really poor, and my mom was, like I said, in the throes of, opioid addiction. They didn't call it that back in the day. We called them junkies, but the easier, softer way has worked so well for us. But like, and like after like 10 years old, I don't even remember. I mean, we didn't even really eat cooked meals at the house. If anything, I'd get sent to Hi-Fi Pizza late at night to get subs for us. And, and a few times I got jumped and got, robbed. Either on the way there where they took the money or they took the subs and, beat me up. And, there's always several kids on one, and, it's just, but yeah, man, it's, so I guess that's why, I remained pretty juvenile. And that's probably why I remained pretty juvenile in nature and in life for so long, until I was like in my, I had kids, so I had to grow up a bit. But like I was still doing degenerate shit. I was still doing drugs and drinking, on the sneak tip, but still I was doing it, daily. And especially the drugs, the drinking, I kind of, stopped doing that for quite some years. But anyway, yeah, it's just my thoughts today, and hey, happy birthday to me. And I'm down here doing what I wanted to do. Like when I woke up this morning, I couldn't wait for it to be light out. And then, my girl gave me my present, and my daughter, and, my mom's texted me. And, it's nice, right? And I'm sure I'll hear from my son when he gets out of school. Maybe not, though, He's a guy. But anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at, man. And I'm gonna enjoy my day. I'm gonna have a really good dinner with my girl. My kids aren't around today. My son's at his mom's until Saturday. My daughter's up in college, and it's okay. It's okay. It's all right today. I'm 55. I'm still alive. I'm happy to be around. Life is so different now, and it's such a blessing. I hope it is for you too. Take care. Have a good one.